Okay, back at it here. The camera memory was full and battery was dead, so I copied all the files off it, moved all the files off it, and plugged it in and let it charge up for a few hours. And took a little power nap, and also did a little bit more work on the guitar. Oiled the fretboard yet again, and the bar has been cut and drilled and dyed and has 2 coats of shellac on it. And the thumb screw has been, I think that was already cut, and this has been sanded too also. This has been drilled and sanded and has 2 coats of shellac on it. And I think I'm going to put like a couple more coats on these and then sand them. And the bar has been test fitted already, and the body has been drilled and all the holes have been tapped, and that's where I'm at. And so yeah, basically waiting for paint to dry. So for all of those who want to see some action of guitar building, you're about to see where probably, perhaps as much as 50% of the time of guitar building goes. Recorded live. This is where almost half of the time of building a guitar goes. Watching paint dry. Enjoy. I'll cut away in a minute or two. Actually, maybe I'll cut away now, otherwise if I like watch something online, streaming video, YouTube might flag it as a copyright infringement, so yeah, okay. Give this thing a few more minutes and that coat should be dry, and then I'll give it a 4th coat, and then I think I can sand. So, while we wait for shellac to dry, oh, wait a sec. Let me switch over to the Shellac Cam. There you go, there's the Shellac Cam. There, where's my finger? Here we go. There's our leg bar, or swing bar, and that right there is the thumb screw. And this time, I didn't hang them directly over the heater, and so it's not going to get that kind of like bubbly effect that it gets when you bake on the finish, which you seem to do if you like kind of rush the drying of the shellac, shall we say. I mean, it's not an issue because you can sand it back flat again, but I suspect that you don't get quite as much build that way. So I set it just, you know, like a foot off center from where the heater was. I just now shut off the heater because it was starting. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we're at just about we're at that, whatever that is. The camera will never pick it up. 80 degrees, which would be about, oh, say 27 centigrade. So it's warm, and it's down to almost need my x-ray specs for this thing. It's down to about 40% relative humidity in here, so it's very good conditions for drying quickly. I was actually thinking of putting this stuff outside, but it's probably going to be more humid out there. But I was thinking that while we wait, that something more interesting perhaps than the Shellac Cam here might be, I was considering doing a different kind of a build video format, more of a what's on the bench kind of a thing, as opposed to just shooting episodes about working on a specific guitar, because it's not really my workflow here. My workflow here is more like, well, you know, when something is on hold for parts or paint, basically, then I move on to the next build, and then I rotate back around eventually. But sometimes I'll get on a roll and I'll move on to the next build and I'll get inspired and I'll do the next build before I get back around to the first builds, even though paint's dry or parts have come in. So I was thinking it might be a little easier to like film everything that's going on, because right now there's like a lot of stuff going on because a lot of parts have come in, and so there's a lot of builds that I can play with. And so I was thinking it might be easier to shoot that kind of a build video, and that way, you know, you still end up with a video that's where you're, you know, building guitars. It's just not all the same thing. It's not just all one episode of doing work on building one specific guitar build. It'd be, you know, like working a bit on this thing, working a bit on that thing, and oh, this just came in, and so on and so forth. The actual workflow is usually start by ordering parts, and then once you order parts, the next place that you visit after the parts ordering station is you go to the paint shop and you get a coat of paint on everything and get it all hanging up to dry, and then you can move on to the bench, and then you can start playing around with some cool stuff. So yeah, let me while we're waiting for this stuff, let me see what it feels like here. Out of the way, trash bag. Okay, that one's no longer, well, yeah, the bottom edge is still slightly tacky. This one's dry to the touch, but still soft. So I'll probably be kicking the heat back on here in a minute. It's, once again, it's pretty cold outside. It's not as cold as it has been, but we had a highs in the 50s today. So whatever that is in metric. Apologies to anybody. Yeah, anybody other than in the United States. It's actually it's strange because from the get-go, like the first half dozen subscribers to this channel were like, they would watch every video, and from the demographics that I could tell on YouTube, they were all over the planet. There was like a couple in Europe and somebody in Russia and a couple in Asia and stuff like this. And yeah, it was interesting. So, but anyway, yeah, let's do a little on the bench and see some cool stuff. So as we all know, if you're like running a YouTube channel and you like do episodes or post videos for, you know, monetization or to promote your business or whatever, then, or if you're an influencer, you know, it's your, hold on, what are some of the catchphrases these days? Your side gig. Okay, yeah, so, hey, I'm a lifetime entrepreneur. I can sympathize. So, But anyway, so here we go with the intro. We'll be right back with the intro. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Norm's Guitar Shack. I'm Norm, I'm your host Norm, and this here's the shack. Today here at the shack we're playing with some guitars. This is guitar number 6, which is half in the paint shop and half out. And seeing what's going on, let's see. The Flying V project is still waiting for a roller bridge. The couple other parts came in. Hold on a sec. Here's our first cool thing. This is the correct jack plate for the Flying V, and this came from a guitar shop in England, and I got an excellent price because the dollar was strong, and it's actually metal and substantial weight too. I'm quite impressed. Yeah, should be very good, very good. Going to beat the heck out of that little thing I fabbed up out of a treble rhythm plate cover thing on an LP, off of an LP. So that's one little thing. And something else came in here. Ah, here it is. There's gold lock nut. That's going to take care of that high nut situation. I don't have nut slots and, you know, nuts, please. Just lock it off and get it over with. Just kiss, you know, tuning instability goodbye. Let's see, what else we got here? We got this. This is for the black stain Strat. And there goes the back cover. But yeah, the black stain Strat, I had twin humbucker pick guards and like a 3-ply, but I really needed an SSS and a 1-ply 8-screw, not an 11-screw, and there it is right there. So that's for the black Strat, black stain Strat, and the matching back plate, which I just dropped in the sawdust. Yeah, there we go. And it's a Fleor band. I've had gear from them before and been duly impressed. Pickups, I think it was. Match set. Yeah, I think I've got a match set of their pickups in my Strat build. The one that's got the clear pick guard, and you can see all the guts inside. And it's a Sunburst. It's the one that made me buy the Cherry Burst twins because I wanted to use the headstock neck off a Cherry Burst twin, and then the twins were so nice I bought both of them. And then one was messed up, and yeah, I've got one. I think I've still got the Cherry Burst Strat. But anyway, oh yeah, this is cool. Hold on. So a lot of you may be wondering, well, hey, what about the Robo-Tuner? That was a neat build, right? So at the last thing I shot and posted on the Robo-Tuner, it needed a new battery. And the new battery came in. I don't have it right here right now, but the little lock mechanism, the clip thing for push it in and it locks and come back and push it again and it unlocks. It wasn't holding the battery into the unit quite far enough for the contacts to touch. So if you like push the battery in with your finger, it would make contact and it worked fine. But if you didn't push it in or didn't like, you know, wedge a piece of paper in there to hold it in or something, then it didn't make contact and it was dead on arrival. So I jumped on eBay and I was like, okay, I guess I gotta get a new brain plate or base plate brain box thing. And there it is. So now we've got, this is actually a used one, but 40 bucks, not a bad deal. And it seems to be in like new condition, so that should be not a problem. And we've got a brand new battery from the manufacturer in Germany to go with it. So that's going to be ready to go on the Robo Tuner. And the number 2 string tuner on the Robo Tuner is dead, I'm pretty sure. But then I've got that extra set of tuners for it, so we have spare parts in house. Then let's see. Yes, that. Hold on, more goodies. And this is the build that's really important. This is the triple carbon fiber tube neck, and that's some of the body rods, and the rest of the body rods arrived. So yeah, 10mm rods, 500mm length, I believe they are. But yeah, so it's almost long enough to do a neck, but not quite. You have to get the 1 meter rods in order to do a neck. But this is plenty long enough in order to do the body. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 rods side by side, and then 2 of these larger rods, the 15s, not the 17s. We'll be flanking those down at the bottom end to provide a wide enough area to mount the Steinberger R trim. So yeah, so the carbon fiber tube build is ready to proceed as well. And that's just like the parts that have come in. Now let's see, what do we got going on still got to order parts for the fretless. Let me show you that in case you missed that video. It's awfully pretty. So this is the neck for the fretless build. Isn't that wild? No dots. It has side marker dots. And it's beautifully finished. It's got a skunk stripe. I don't know if it's real or fake. I wouldn't be surprised if it's fake, but yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful piece. Nice piece of rosewood on it. Yeah, so this is going to be the neck for the fretless. And originally the plan was I had a couple extra like bodies laying around, like, and I was thinking I'd just do a traditional type of build using a body in this neck. And it turned out that I had like a super strat body that had been bathtub routed for rapid prototyping of pickup configurations, and so it was more or less didn't look real good anymore. And then the only other thing I had was one of those spiky, glary guitar bodies, and that thing was just, it looked like it would be insanity trying to sand that thing back and refinish it. And so I was like, okay, well, neither of these bodies are suitable. I guess I'll have to make a body for it. So for this thing here, the basic plan is I'm gonna make a body for it, and stuff like that. And already made a parts list for it. So, but I still got to get online and order all the parts. So, yeah, I need to do that so that I can have this one available for working on when something else is in the paint shop. And it's not going like that's going to be real expensive. I mean, the neck was under 100, as I recall, and easily under 100. Might have been under 50. And for the rest of it's going to be, you know, I've got wood on hand for the body, and it's going to be something like that. I think I'm going to use a telly bridge where you cut off the pickup part and you just end up with a hardtail. I'm going to do that, try to keep it simple as far, because of the fact that it's a fretless. Just use a telly bridge and high output quad rail and the normal setup kind of a thing. Lightweight tuners on it. And yeah, I'm not going to cut the headstock. I'm not going to reshape the neck. I'm not going to reshape the heel. All that stuff will be traditional. Then this here is the other build that's going on. This is the black stained Strat. And if you've been watching the previous videos on this, you caught glimpses of this in the background where it was black like this, and I really didn't like it. And so now it's going to become more brown like that. And I'm currently in the process of dyeing the body. The neck's already got some shellac on it. So this thing is in the paint shop. Yeah, so that's basically where I'm at on guitars at this moment. I've got to order parts for the fretless, and this thing's in the paint shop, and this thing's in the paint shop, and then I got parts to proceed with this guy and this guy. So, and that's what's on the bench. And so I guess the next step would be, this thing might need another coat of dye, so it's probably time for a naphtha test. But first, some live footage action from our sponsor, the Shellac Cam. See how we're doing here. Not ready yet. Close but no cigar. It's about time to kick the heater back on. Okay, so we're looking for this to kind of match that. See what happens. Pretty, but kind of light. Is it pretty enough? Yeah, so I put the black on this and I didn't really like it. It just looked tacky. It was a matter of garbage in, garbage out. I don't know, that doesn't look bad. It really doesn't look that bad. Maybe I should go with that. Leave well enough alone. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Let me flood the rest of it, get an idea. It's a relatively pretty guitar. Neck's a little dark though. I guess I could go a little darker. Let's see what the other side looks like. course, the neck's been shellacked and not sanded, which is, it'll lighten slightly when it's sanded. It makes the shellac clearer as you become more polished. I'm going to run out of lighter fluid here. It does look real pretty. I should probably go a little darker in order to match the neck, though. Just a smidge, like half strength brown or something. Now I gotta let this dry. All right, so that's in the drying rack. Everything's in the drying rack. Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna go watch some videos or something. I'll be back. On second thought, I don't think I'm gonna make it any darker. Like I said, I'm starting to use a new approach where you just try to make each individual piece of wood look as good as you can. And these are dissimilar woods, so I shouldn't really expect as good as you can to look the same. On this one, the neck, I had to go dark to get it to look good, because it just really looked awful, man. And things got like no graining, no figuring, no nothing. It's very, very boring piece of wood. Well, yeah, it was. Now it's actually quite interesting. It almost looks torfied or something, but yeah, it's definitely got much more character to it. And the fretboard actually is not that bad as far as the graining goes. There you go. You can see a little bit. It's going to need cleaning up and stuff, but it should look okay. It's going to be kind of dark, but it's got some good streaking in there, so it won't be totally like dark. Like Guitar 6's is. That thing's almost looks like ebony. This thing. And the oil on it's I might finally have enough. When you get to the point where you can like rub it and see that it comes back up looking kind of oily again, then you might finally have enough coats on it and it's saturated. So yeah, at this point here, let me do this last one. Okay, so you see how glossy it is, and you can actually see how this one's a little glossier. Now if I just rub my finger on it, it comes up looking oily again, just ever so slightly oilier, which means that this has probably got finally enough oil on it that it's become thoroughly soaked once again. It seems to all have a uniform look to it, so it's probably all of it's finally saturated, and that's good. That'll keep for many months, kind of a thing, and it'll polish up nicely and things like that. So helps if I hold things in camera, right? In frame. Okay, yeah, that's enough about this thing. So yeah, as far as this thing goes, I don't think I'm going to go any darker. I'm just going to leave it like that, and it'll have a darker neck. Like I said, the neck should lighten up ever so slightly when it gets sanded, and the shellac becomes a bit clearer. Or goes from, it's got kind of a shade, almost the shade of that guitar right there before it's sanded. Or maybe a little, not quite as brown, more like this, the natural strap right here. But yeah, so I'm back to waiting for stuff to dry. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch some vids. I'll be back. Could be a good place to end this episode. It's not very like satisfying to end an episode with stuff's in the paint shop again, but that's life. Like I said, pretty much half the time spent, if you like clocked up the hours that a guitar was being built, almost half the hours are drying time. If you're adding in all the hours, you know, the time sanding, the time cutting, the time designing, the time in assembly, the time painting or dyeing or staining, and the time clear coating, and the time waiting for paint or dye or stain to dry, and the time waiting for clear coat to dry, and the time spent sanding and buffing and polishing and waxing and all that kind of stuff. Probably close to half of it is just waiting for stuff to dry and waiting for glue to dry. Especially if you're doing wood glue ups instead of CA glue ups like I do. So yeah, and my CA glue, I'd leave the caps off too long and the stuff loses all of its accelerator, and so it takes it minutes instead of seconds to dry anyway. So yeah, this episode is about watching stuff dry, I guess. So much fun. Well, life's not a bowl of cherries, right? Yeah, and Rome wasn't built in a day. So there you go. Until next time, everybody, have a good one. Wait a sec, we should show the right guitar here for this. Hold on. Haven't figured out an outro yet for the Guitar Shack, but yeah, this is the build in question, and I guess the outro that I've been using is plenty good. So until the next time, yeah, go make some sawdust, and everybody have a good one. See you all in I can just turn this, I can just hit stop record and then hit start record and get right back to work actually. So I'll see you in a minute.